Gave the Angels a 6-5 win over Texas. The Angels are 21-20 at home. Ben Shelton, the only African-American in the men's quarterfinals at Wimbledon, will play Yannick Sinner of Italy on Wednesday. Sinner, ranked number 1 in the world, is 5-0 against Shelton. At 22, Shelton is the youngest player in the men's bracket to advance to the quarterfinals at Wimbledon since Andy Roddick in 2004. Roddick was 21. Tough break for the Indiana Pacers and Tyrese Halliburton. The Pacers found out Monday that Halliburton will miss all of next season. Halliburton tore his right Achilles tendon in the first quarter of Game 7 in the NBA Finals on June 22nd. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah. At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
Thanks for starting your morning off using politics to culture and community solutions. This is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
Holy Ghost fire, supernatural, boost my confidence. My cocaine, my heart desire, give me happiness. I know they're tired, 'cause you give me dinner for the time minutes. You're my true lover, my mommy water. Happiness. Oh yeah, the pantas, 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 the pantas. Holy Ghost fire, supernatural, boost my confidence. My cocaine, my heart desire, give me happiness. I know they're tired, 'cause you give me dinner for the time.
Miles on he's still there. I think he's staying there. He's still. That's one thing about jet lag. Like half of your brain can be in Nigeria. Maybe it should be a quarter of the brain in Benin, a quarter of the brain in Ghana, a quarter in Nigeria, and one right here. That's Omala, Holy Ghost. You know, the Afrobeat sounds different when you're in Africa. It really does.
Yeah, you feel it a lot more.
You do, yeah. It's different. Even the way they're dancing to it and stuff. It's not a commercial thing. It's just what it is.
Yeah. You hear the soul. You feel the soul. You like Dominic. We spoke with our tour guide on that walk for the Point of No Return, and
the
I was in
Rastaman. Yeah.
Abakute, was it?
Abiyokuta. No, that was in Badagry.
I'm sorry, I said Badagry, yes.
Yeah.
And, he's like, man, he's a reggae singer and he writes his music, while he's doing these walks every day. So I'm like, it's the spirit and the motivation is there. You're not motivated by the AI. You're not motivated by the gram and what you're seeing in your head. You're literally motivated by the spirit, by the wind, by the breeze in the trees, the air, the ocean. Like it's a lot. So you hear it coming out in the music, in the walk, in the nature, all that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a gimmick. It just seems like a natural part of the landscape of the city and the country. And it was interesting. The people heard that listened to KBLA, that listened to this show, First Things First, your little beef with the DJ. We talked about that a little bit when you were telling him quit playing Boots on the Ground over and over and over again. Although I thought it was really funny that I think it's Carnival Cruises changed the rules. There's no fans allowed.
Oh, you saw that? That's crazy.
That's racism. Tell me you don't want black people without telling me you don't want black people.
Right.
No fans allowed. No hand fans for security reasons. Anyway, I digress. So you got into it with that guy, and we ended up leaving the club, all of us, because he was not complying. And also he was a horrible DJ, but I think he was doing that on purpose. And then later, in another situation, it was the reverse, right? When they were playing nothing but Afro beats and Drake, and you requested Kendrick.
Yes. Yeah. We went skating.
We didn't tell that story.
Didn't tell the skating story, man. Went skating in Ghana, and
at a roller rink type joint. I didn't go. This was all the millennials on the trip. This was the younger crowd on the trip, right?
Right. Shout out to Daisha. Shout out to Camille. We stepped out that night, went to the roller skating rink, and it was nothing but Afro. It was a great vibe. It was a great energy. It was fun. Beautiful women there. You know what I'm saying? Handsome brothers there. Everybody was fly, enjoying themselves. The people in Ghana really aren't that good at skating. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. Be honest, it was people on the ground.
We were only talking about you guys were skating around fallen skaters.
It was wild. People were staying on the ground and like meeting other people who were sitting on the ground. It was a whole thing to see. But either way, nothing but Afro beats and Drake all night, right? And I go to the DJ, beautiful DJ. I forgot her name, but a woman DJ, beautiful. And I asked her, I'm like, yo, we're from LA. Like, can we get a little bit of Kendrick in the mix? Can we get some West Coast? Can we get some bounce for us? And she's like, oh, no, the promoter will kill me if I don't play Drake all night. So Drake got Ghana on lock, just so you know.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Last year, we heard Kendrick in Tanzania at Zanzibar. It was popular there. Kendrick was. But it felt like in the club that we were in, that was in Nigeria, that guy was playing it to clown us, playing Kendrick. And then, so I guess it isn't really the opposite. You went to the roller rink in Ghana, and they said, nope, we playing Drake.
All right, but even then, though, like, they had their own playlist set ready to go, and I respect them for saying, no, this is what we playing tonight, we're not going to go do this. And right. I'm not upset at that, because it was a whole vibe. The DJ in Nigeria at the club, though, it was a lot of like trying to get us to dance Americans dance. Wouldn't play your dance songs and minstrel show for us.
Right. And he played Boots on the Ground at least 3 or 4 times. He just kept playing it over.
Played the Boots on the Ground. Played Bruno Mars and like Taylor Swift and nah, bro, that's not. There's a million. Like I told us, there's a million great songs to pick. There's no perfect one. Just pick one and be good with it, and we'll go with it. You could have played some Beyonce. There's a lot of music could have played for a tour full of black Americans to get up and have a good time and dance. You're going to play that. You don't got to play just the commercial ones. Play the real ones, but he didn't know that. So just do what you do. Don't try to do what we do, brother, man.
We didn't come here for our playlist.
We came here for you to set the mood, and it was a whole little tension between me and him the rest of the night. But it was good to see the duality though. Once we got to the roller rink, they're like, yo, no, actually we got our playlist player. Let's we're gonna do what we do all night and play our vibe, and we enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys went and had that adventure, but I thought it was just pretty hilarious. Apparently, maybe roller skating is a new attraction there. Because I can't even go to a roller rink here because I can roller skate, but I can't do all them tricks and stuff. And, I'll lose my black card. But over there, apparently, you can fall on the ground and sit down and nobody cares.
Right, and people, seemed to have no concern about getting their fingers rolled over because people was moving on. Like, for the people that fell, there was a lot of them that fell, but there were some people that were moving. So let me act like it was the whole roller rink, but everywhere you looked, everywhere you turned, it was people falling, people with elbow pads on and helmets. Okay, y'all knew you weren't going to make it all night without hitting the ground.
They came to the roller rink with elbow pads.
Elbow pads.
Wow. Well,
we didn't fall, by the way, just for the record. The Americans did not fall. So when that comes to the Olympics, just know America will be whooping on our brothers from the motherland.
It's like the dance contest inside of the resort, the Aqua Safari. Courtney should have won. She was dancing, but they had a home court advantage. She got a couple marriage proposals, but they didn't give her the prize. And she clearly should have won. She would. I was this close to going USA.
Also, too, that was I believe it was Ghana Republic, the Republic of Ghana Day, like a holiday for them. The same weekend we were doing 4th of July weekend, so it was a real good little culture gumbo in there at the Aqua Safari, in my opinion.
I never became clear on why, because they said it's Republic of Ghana Day is usually a different day, but they moved it this year.
The second on that Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, well, in any case, they were out there. They had Friday off, too. They were out there celebrating, and that resort had people from all over the place. A lot of Indians, people from India, and Chinese, too. When I first went down to the bar, they were playing Chinese songs.
It was a lot of people that were in the line for, like, the boat ride and jet skiing and the horse riding that they had were of, Indian and Asian descent. So it was a whole vibe.
A couple Europeans, but it was mostly Indian, Asian, and Black African people from all over Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. All over Ghana, all over
fun.
The region. Yeah, it was pretty fun. That was a fun day. But now we're getting into more of the nuances. I think you're starting to see what I was telling you. When you first go to Africa, it's just like, wow, this is amazing. It's different. It's a whole, it's a whole world because there's 54 countries and so many different cultures. In Nigeria alone, there's 200 languages, right? Besides English being the national language. So once you go there a few times, you start noticing those nuances like, hey, why y'all playing boots on the ground? And we won't even tell the grifter story. Or maybe we will. I don't know.
Tell it. Yeah, we'll tell it.
Yeah. Well, maybe we will. We'll talk about it. But there's you start to see more levels to it when you go back. And of course, it's still a beautiful experience. I recommend for everyone, especially right now, because it's important to remember that it's a big, wide world with lots of options and opportunities. We're going to stay encouraged. We're going to stay up. We're going to stay empowered. That's what we're doing. Rain or shine. And boy, man, speaking of rain, really feeling for Texas. We'll cover that and more of the national news. Maybe we'll play. We have a couple interviews we didn't get a chance to play that are maybe perfect for a Talking Point Tuesday. So all that is straight ahead. We're taking your phone calls. You want to talk? Did you miss me? You missed me? Show me. You miss arguing with me? I'm here for that too. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ROYAL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ROYAL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ROYAL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon, right after Tavis Smiley, here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Yes, indeed. It's the perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Did my best to track things here in the U.S. from abroad. It's a little harder, as I mentioned on the air. Then, when you go to a hotel in Ghana, in Benin, in Nigeria, you turn on the TV, instead of the default being CNN, it's Al Jazeera. It's different news. It's catered toward Africa. We're finding out a lot of things going on there. So I feel like I'm playing catch up, even though I did my best to keep up. But man, those Texas floods, so scary. And of course, I don't know if you guys remember, because I only mentioned it once, but I've always wanted to start a nonprofit called the Baraka Book Club, named after my dad, where we will read different books and make ourselves smarter and more literate. So I unofficially soft launched it. The Baraka Book Club is now a thing. And I'm reading The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. You're welcome to join me. I was reading it on the trip. I'm still not that far into it because we were very busy on the trip. But I bring it up to say that book starts to offer, it's set in 2024, by the way, and it offers a glimpse of what could be, right, with climate change and the kind of totalitarian movements that we're seeing in government here and the defunding of basic services. And it feels like Kerr County, Texas, where they just weren't ready. And I think most of us aren't ready for the kinds of extreme weather that we will likely see in the months and years ahead. Over 100 people dead there. And that flash flooding is not new. The flash flooding has been happening for more than 100 years on the Guadalupe River. But it's just, all of these things are more intense, more frequent, and extreme right now. And the scientists are telling us this is where we are. The climate emergency is changing conditions in ways that will impact communities that we are not prepared for. Now, there's a lot of people talking smack about the fact that there was no early warnings from Kerr County, that they've been defunding their emergency preparedness through budget cuts, that local officials did not do what they should have done. And that all of that may be true, but I would argue, just like the LA fires of almost exactly 6 months ago, we don't have the kind of technology and preparation that is needed to deal with this type of disaster. We had a blowtorch scenario here in LA, 100-mile-an-hour winds, these embers flying everywhere, very dry conditions, because we had a deluge of rain followed by a drought. So you've got all of this undergrowth, which is now bone dry. And a blowtorch in the form of these heavy winds. They're not conditions that we've had to regularly face in the past. And so I would argue that even though it may well be that Texas should have done more preparations, their early warning system was outdated, and a lot of people have lost their lives. We're at 100 people now, but it seems like the death toll will go much higher by the time they're done rescuing and excavating. The county applied for a grant, apparently, from FEMA for close to $1 million back in 2017. Who was president then, I wonder? And they were denied that grant. They applied for money to build a flood warning system in 2017. And the Trump administration said no, we're not doing that. The idea that this administration is now thinking about getting rid of FEMA altogether, I hope will be undermined by this. I mean, it's terrible that 100 people have to lose their lives for something so basic as we need to keep up with changing conditions so people don't die. But if at least that came out of it, that would be something. That would be something. And I hope that these things in some tragic way unite us as a country, because but for the grace of God, there go I. That could be any of us, whether it's a flood, a hurricane, a fire, a windstorm, a mudslide, an earthquake. It could be any of us. And that is why I think it's so important that we start to move away from this red state, blue state crap. And I know a lot of progressives do this. Oh, all MAGA are idiots and they're all stupid. But I don't think that. I think a lot of them were tricked, bamboozled. And even an idiot doesn't deserve to die in a flood. I mean, it's funny because the whole heated conversation about race that's still going on my Instagram right now because of the conversation with Jay French. It's got a lot of white folks on my Instagram now calling me all kinds of names. I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I don't know anything. I'm uneducated. And the assumption that just because somebody doesn't agree with you means they're stupid is not a good assumption. It just means they don't agree with you. I understood what he was saying. I just didn't agree with it. I think there are MAGA folks like that. I think there's some that are being bamboozled. Have been seduced into some kind of cult-like scenario. And then there are some that are hardcore white supremacists that I can never commune with or ally with, but I'll still try because I think everyone deserves a chance at redemption, a chance at resurrection. I don't believe in throwing people away. I'll agree or disagree vehemently. I'm not going to let you get away with saying BS and untrue things. But this idea that, well, that's Texas, they're a red state, they voted for this, so that's what they get. I don't agree with that. Those are human beings. Those are actual human beings dying in floods in preventable situations, and some may not be preventable due to the extremes, right, that we're dealing with now. But many have to be. Trump reversing himself now, saying he's going to send weapons to Ukraine after saying he wasn't going to because he was putting America first. And remember before that, he said he was going to end that war on day one because him and Putin are boys. And Putin's pretty much giving him the read between the lines finger, doing what he wants, making him look stupid. Now he says he's going to send them weapons because they have to be able to defend themselves. Like, is that a light bulb moment? The put America first thing or America first thing is sounding like a lot like a nothing burger when you're sending all this money to Israel and enabling them to carry out a genocide, when you're sending arms to Ukraine, when you're helping Netanyahu attack Iran and making that our war. Now, the MAGA folks, some of them are getting angry about that. What happened to America first? Good. Get angry about it. Because this president lied to you, and that's not anything new. He always lies to you, but I love that they care about it this time. Okay, let's go to Fred calling us from L.A. Good morning, Fred.
Hello, Dominique. Yes, I did miss you. I didn't get to throw any Nerf balls at you. So
Aw,
I got two.
you're
so I got
back.
two
So you got a whole arsenal today.
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't let me get to it, so I'll get to it next time. But the two things today is you said some politician in California was going to pass a law or try to get a law passed to take the mask off the ICE agents.
Yeah.
Well, what about Article 6, Paragraph 2 of the United States Constitution? It's called the Supremacy Clause. They don't have to do a darn thing that Mayor Bass, the state legislator, Gavin Newsom, the L.A. Police Department, the sheriff, or anybody. What are they going to do about the Supremacy Clause?
So I have a question for you, Fred.
Sure.
You say that you're not a Republican. You say that you're an independent, even though your Republican talking points are flawlessly in lockstep with the party of white supremacy. But my understanding is that the Republicans believe in states' rights.
They called it the 10th Amendment.
So why is it that you guys, or I'm going to say you sympathizers, because you say you're not a Republican, that Republican sympathizers and people who put out Republican talking points only like states' rights when it's convenient for them. If the state of California, under Scott Wiener, that's who we're talking about, Senator Scott Wiener, and one other person who I can't think of right now, they are proposing a bill that would make it illegal for law enforcement to wear masks, unless it's.
But it would apply to federal agents.
Any law enforcement agent entering the state of California or working in the state of California. I looked at the bill. It would apply to federal agents. And theoretically, we should have the right, just like we should have the right to not have the National Guard here if we don't want them here. So why is it that you only care about states' rights when it comes to things like abortion, not when it comes to terrorizing our citizenry through masked federal law enforcement or marriage equality and things like that?
Well, okay, you're mixing apples and oranges. When you come to the subject of abortion, I pretty much part with those people. It's a states' right issue. It's a 10th Amendment issue. And the Republicans or the hardliners, they want to stop all abortions. No, it should be back into the states. So that's not a total true statement. But can I make my last point?
You may have to hold that thought because you only would have to do it in 14 seconds. We're up against the clock here for news, traffic, and sports. But if you want to stay with me, Fred, I will let you launch that other Nerf that you have in your bullet belt. Okay, we've got news, traffic, and sports. Fred called 800-920-1580, and I invite you to do the same. Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN News Now. To New York for the mayor's race. If the race were held today, a new poll from Gotham Polling and Analytics shows Zoran Mandani way ahead of his competitors. According to the poll, Mandani would get 41%, former Governor Andrew Cuomo 26%, and Black Mayor Eric Adams 16%. Adams says Cuomo is currently pressuring him to drop out of the race.
He lost by 12 percentage points. I have an opportunity to go one-on-one with Mandani.
Adams sounds like he wants all of the smoke. Back to the poll, Curtis Sliwa grabbed just under 10%. The personal finance website Wallet Hub says the majority black city of Detroit, Michigan is the most stressed city in America. They used metrics like weekly work hours, medium credit score, food insecurity, and divorce rates. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Something is going on with the Dodgers pitching staff. The Dodgers have been outscored 38-7 in their last 4 games. They lost their 4th straight Monday night, a 9-1 loss loss at Milwaukee. A bases-loaded walk in the bottom of the ninth inning gave the Angels a 6-5 win over Texas. The Angels are 21-20 at home. Ben Shelton, the only African-American in the men's quarterfinals at Wimbledon, will play Yannick Sinner of Italy on Wednesday. Sinner, ranked number 1 in the world, is 5-0 against Shelton. At 22, Shelton is the youngest player in the men's bracket to advance to the quarterfinals at Wimbledon since Andy Roddick in 2004. Roddick was 21. Tough break for the Indiana Pacers and Tyrese Halliburton. The Pacers found out Monday that Halliburton will miss all of next season. Halliburton tore his right Achilles tendon in the first quarter of Game 7 in the NBA Finals on June 22nd. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD, a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, making everyday tasks challenging. But did you know that black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? There are things you can do to help reduce your risk for developing AD. Managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure is crucial. Staying physically active, maintaining social connections, eating a healthy diet, and keeping your mind engaged with activities like reading or puzzles can all contribute to brain health. It's also important to recognize some common signs and symptoms of early AD, such as forgetfulness that causes problems with everyday life, asking the same question a few times in a row, and difficulty concentrating on basic tasks. If you see these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatallzearly.com. That's treatallzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
Hey, man. Hey, what's up, What's the station you listening to? Oh, man, you don't know? That's Talk Radio. KBLA, 1580 AM. Check it out. 1580 KBLA AM. 1580 Talk Radio. Progressive.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're celebrating our 4th anniversary, and this track right here is the gift one of our devoted listeners presented to us.
Where you get some information, get a true education to know. Ooh, yeah. 1580.
How cool is that? Having a member of our KBLA delegation write us a song. Stop it! Our listeners love us, and there ain't nothing we can do about it. Wouldn't want to. Thanks to Cardell and everybody else for turning on KBLA Talk 1580. We love you right black.
KBLA 1580 Talk Radio. Get it like me. Ooh, KBLA 1580 Talk Radio. Progressive.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
And Fred from LA was on the phone. He called me at 800-920-1580. I think he's still there, and you can do the same. Fred was saying that the Supremacy Clause should make Senator Scott Wiener's bill prohibiting any law enforcement doing business in the state of California from wearing masks unless they're needed for their health, i.e. a gas mask, illegal, would be overridden by the Supremacy Clause. What I would say to that, aside from the fact that it seems so hypocritical to me that Republicans and independents who have Republican talking points love states' rights only when they want the thing that the state is doing, and suddenly they want to talk about the Supremacy Clause when they don't like the thing the state is doing. But the Supremacy Clause has its own built-in check, which is that it has to be constitutional. It doesn't mean the feds can just do anything and override any state law, even if it's in conflict with the U.S. Constitution. And I believe that unidentified masked agents running around snatching people off the street is unconstitutional. So we'll see. We'll let the courts decide that. What's your other Nerf bullet that you got for me, Fred?
This is the big one. To get into a federal detention center, as I have many times, and as a supervisor, retired now, as a supervisor assigned many drivers and heavy equipment operators, you have to have a security clearance. So maybe you should pass that on to the mayor of New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, and all the other politicians.
My brother was not in the ICE facility. He does have a security. No, that's a lie. So what you're spewing right now are talking points that aren't true. The mayor.
He didn't
the
go
mayor.
To the ICE facility.
He went to the ICE facility. Yes, he did. He went there to have a press conference with the sitting members of Congress who have a duty and a right to inspect those facilities. He did not try to get in. He was waiting outside for them. And guess what? He does have clearance, but that's bull. He did not try to get in. He didn't storm anything. They asked him to walk outside of the gate. He walked back outside of the gate. He never entered the facility. And then they decided to arrest him anyway, and he was the only person they arrested. So that's not a good Nerf bullet. It's just what your favorite orange man calls fake news.
No. The politicians that he went there to meet have to have a security clearance to get into.
And they do have a security clearance. It's their job to inspect ICE facilities, federal facilities.
No.
Yes,
you have
sir.
to have a written security clearance down on a piece of paper, and I'm not going to tell you a code or anything like that because I'm on the air. Oh, no, you have to have a
Trust me, they have security clearance. Do you think their staffs let them just walk up in there like do-do-do-do-do?
Yeah, Maxine Waters did it here in downtown L.A. I saw her on TV try to get in. She said she tried to get in, they wouldn't let her in.
I saw it,
too. You have
too.
to have a security clearance.
No, that is not why they wouldn't let her in. The people that are keeping these elected officials from doing their jobs are low-level security guards that are, in most cases, don't even work for those facilities. So it's a terrible talking point. Thank you for trying.
Bye.
I mean, that's what we do on a Talking Point Tuesday. You can call here and say what you saw on Instagram or what you've conjectured based on your experience in a particular job. But that doesn't mean we're going to just let it fly, okay? That's not how it goes down. It has to be fact-based. And if you want to opine, that's fine too. But we're going to argue or agree to disagree or just disagree. Just flat out disagree. We can do that too. And so it has to be that our elected officials have oversight of these federal facilities. It has to be that something like a supremacy clause is checked by the Constitution. The way, for all of its flaws, the way the Founding Fathers set up this country was with the idea of one branch of government checking the other, to avoid what we're seeing now, which is the consolidation of power in the hands of the executive branch, leading to an authoritarian-style, fascist-style government, which is what we're seeing now. For all my critiques of my beloved country, and I do love my country, I never thought we'd get to the point we're at now, where you literally have masked law enforcement refusing to even identify their agency, let alone their badge number, name, or face, snatching people up off the streets. That's not constitutional. That is not what our democratic republic is meant to do or be. And right now, I think Sherry Bell, who was on with me in the first hour, is absolutely correct. It seems like the only people that are going to stop it are the people. Yes, there are some electeds, like Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who did go to an ICE facility to check on a labor leader who's a citizen who was unlawfully detained there, as is her right. Okay? As is her job. So there's a few of them that will do it. But right now, it's people on the streets protesting, people obstructing federal agents, people demanding. We're seeing now some members of the clergy. Who are you? What agency do you work for? Because there are quite a few documented cases of people who aren't even law enforcement putting on masks, claiming to be ICE, and just snatching people. That's an extreme scenario for sure. But it is happening. And that must be prevented, even if it was just to prevent that. But then the fact that you said you were going after criminals and now you're going after the folks that are picking vegetables, car wash employees. Surely you're a high-level criminal if you're working for minimum wage or less at an LA car wash. I think somebody wrote a song about that. I may not ever get rich, but let me tell you, it's better than digging a ditch. Unless you happen to be undocumented or look Latino when you are documented, and you could still get snatched up. That is not okay. That's not a country, whether it's the United States or El Salvador, that anyone wants to live in. And I do believe, like Frederick Douglass, that a true patriot holds their country accountable. Like if I'm in a personal relationship with you, you're my boyfriend or my brother, sister, girlfriend, mentor. If I love you, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to do it with love. I'm not going to do it with blame and backbiting and insults. I'm going to do it with love. And that's what Frederick Douglass said. A true patriot holds their nation accountable. A true patriot wants to fix the things wrong with their country. They don't just cover them up or go along with them, be complacent and complicit. And that's why right now it seems like the last line of defense is the people. The last line of defense is the people. It's people standing in front of vehicles. It's people protesting. On the plane, on the way back, I was reading about, who owns this geostock, who's profiting off of these ICE detention centers. And it's the very people that are either pushing these policies or staying silent because they stand to profit, and it's profit over everything. It's profit over everything. 800-920-1580. That's the number to call if you got a thing to say about a thing or two. Taking your phone calls all morning long, and we'll be talking with Attorney Carl Douglas in Hour 3. We're going to focus on Diddy. Haven't talked a lot about that. Get myself and you up to speed. Answer your questions. All that straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at WalkGoodLA. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
We are, and it's not too late to call me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. We're going to get through this. We're going to get caught up on all this news, and there is a lot of it. Bright spot, the fact that they finally signed this tax credit legislation for California film and TV. Something good happened while I was gone. I know a lot of good things happened, but I think that's a really good thing because the industry in LA is down. People are taking their jobs to Atlanta, to Toronto, to Vancouver, Europe, and the entertainment business is the lifeblood of this community. So I'm glad to see that this bill is signed into law. It's going to increase the cap on Cali's film and TV credit program up to $750 million. That's up from $330 million. It's going to help stimulate production, which means not just jobs for actors, directors, writers, gaffers, but also all the people that supply them costumes and food and hair and makeup, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's an important step in the right direction, and I was very happy to see that happening. Let's go. We're going to go to our phones. Let's go to Willie calling us from Palmdale. Good morning, Willie. Great to have you back on.
I was calling to ask you, did you read the document, the printout that Justice Yatanda, I'm not can of her name, but Brown.
You're talking about
Justice,
Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Have I read her full dissent? No, I have read parts of it.
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that because Shirley Brown, like Shirley was saying, it's everybody's problem. And even when yesterday,
talking about Sherry Bell.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's everybody's problem because they could be, it's wrong, but they still can deport people and it still would take a class action suit to get back one person.
I think that what Dr. Melina Abdullah said on this show is really important, which is everyone's telling us, know your rights, know your rights, know your rights. But the fact of the matter is right now, they're not honoring those rights. You can know them. But if the Trump administration is not honoring your rights, how does that really help you? I mean, maybe you'll get a lawyer and in the end you'll prevail. But in the meantime, you're in custody or people are getting defunded or et cetera, et cetera.
I wish I had a solution, but I just don't know nothing but the information. But hopefully a scholar would speak up, So that's what I want to talk about.
There is a great article in the New York Times where they talk about how out of all the decisions of the court, the Supreme Court, that Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson only wrote the majority opinion 5 times, meaning she disagreed with the court more than any other justice. And she wrote 20 dissenting opinions, right? Disagreeing opinions. And one of her recurring themes is she says the court is going lawless. They're taking shortcuts. They're putting a thumb on the scale. They're caping for President Trump's agenda and putting the democracy in peril. She's been very outspoken about that. And she's the, only black woman on the court. She's the newest member. But she has been getting, more and more outspoken in her dissent. And I think that's probably why you are citing that. It also says that, it also writes about how Justice Amy Coney Barrett clapped back at her. We will not dwell on Justice Jackson's argument, which is at odds with more than 2 centuries worth of precedent, not to mention the Constitution itself. So Coney Barrett now trying to justify her unconstitutional positions by attacking her fellow Supreme Court justice. This kind of behavior and lack of decorum seems pretty unbefitting of Supreme Court justices. That I'm talking about the Coney Barrett clapback, and the fact that the Trump people are calling Ketanji Brown Jackson a DEI hire, even though she is supremely qualified. She graduated from Harvard Law School, Harvard College, served as a law clerk to a Supreme Court justice. Those are like the impeccable, perfect credentials to be a Supreme Court justice. Shows you what they mean when they say DEI. They mean NIGG. You know the rest.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Like Jasmine was Jasmine. I forgot her name. Jasmine in Congress. She said only 83. It's 83 billionaires. It's 83 billionaires running 500 syndicates.
Yeah. Well, but it's sad, but it's temporary. This is not sustainable. They're not going to be able to pull this off. This is not, the apartheid era where you could get away with this for decades. This is not the McCarthy era. This is not sustainable. I keep saying it, we win. We might have to go through a whole bunch of pain and suffering, and I know that people are. But we win this fight. We have to stay encouraged. Willie, I appreciate the call. Hope you'll call me again.
Thank you, Dominique.
Going to Kim from Long Beach. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique, long-time listener.
Yay.
I just had a question. I just wanted to ask you, what do you think about I think she's a councilman, or she was a mayor. So she called out the 18th Street on ice.
Oh, gosh, I saw that story. I think she is a council member. I'm not sure if it's Bell or what city. What you're talking about is this council member saying that the gangs should be keeping ICE out of their neighborhoods, right?
Yes.
Yes. And she's taken a lot of heat for that because they're saying, she's encouraging criminal activity, which you're not supposed to do if you're a council member. This is Cudahy Vice Mayor Cynthia Gonzalez. Yeah, I saw that on social media. She was basically saying, where are the 18th Street when you need them to keep people off our turf?
Yeah.
Of course, now that's a stereotype of Latinos. Even the vice mayor is a gang member. I think she was being, sarcastic. That's how I read it. How did you take it?
No, me and my sister, we was just sitting back. We thought it was like, hey, come on now, y'all. They coming in their community, and where you guys step up. Just like you said.
So you agree with her statement, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I agree with what she was saying, but I know it's wrong and everything. But look, everything's wrong. What's going on in government right now? So. What do you do?
Open season. She claims the FBI came to her house to question her about it. The agency, according to the LA Times, the agency would not confirm or deny. She is a council member and a vice mayor. And she's getting in a lot of trouble for this. I thought she was being sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek. I also agree with you, Kim. A lot of things are illegal that are going on right now, like masked agents pulling people off the streets that are not doing any crime.
Exactly. And they, we see it all day on TV. The ladies who they're putting, women that have kids and everything. Come on now. This guy, they just going beyond now.
Yeah, she said, for those who didn't follow, you guys tag up everything claiming hood, and now your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang there is. There ain't a peep out of you. Yeah, it's kind of probably not what you're supposed to say when you're vice mayor, I'm thinking. But it's the kind of stuff when Trump says it, he gets cheers, right? Deport all of them. Yay! I'll pay your... What did he say about Black Lives Matter activists? If you beat one of them up, I'll pay your legal fees.
Wow.
It's very Trumpian. It's just on the other side of the ledger, or some side of the ledger, the crazy side of the ledger. I doubt she will face any legal repercussions. And some people are complaining that she's making, Latinos look bad. Well, I don't know. I mean, right now, like you said, this appears to be the least of our problems.
It was coming from her heart. Maybe she shouldn't have stepped out.
Kim said it was coming from her heart. Kim, long-time listener, first-time caller?
Yeah, I've been listening to you ever since you was on at 4 o'clock in the morning. I used to have to be to work at 5:30, so I used to always get a chance to listen to you. And we just love you, and hey, keep doing what you're doing.
Love you back. I'm glad you found me, and I hope you'll call again.
I will.
Excellent. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and then Dream Team attorney Carl Douglas is going to help us understand what the heck happened in the Diddy trial. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN News Now. To New York for the mayor's race. If the race were held today, a new poll from Eric Adams, 16%. Adams says Cuomo is currently pressuring him to drop out of the race.
He lost